Rolling.
The Weekly Scramble.
Podcast.
The Krabby Coffee Shop.
Podcast.
And the Mishke Show.
Podcast.
Bring you Garage Logic number 1544.
What about Table Talk?
No, they're done.
Yeah, well, it's still available. You can download that.
May 13th, 2025. 92 degrees. Well, you guys lasted about a week. 92 degrees on this day in 2007, and they woke up to a 29-degree morning in 1953.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
Happy Statehood Day.
I know. Let's go.
I wouldn't fly that ridiculous new flag, but I'd fly the old one. Happy 100 and how many years? 1850, 167 years.
Woo!
We were the 32nd state admitted to the Union 167 years ago.
Wow.
In the spring of 1858.
It seems like a long time, but it really isn't a long time ago.
And I said, maybe apropos of nothing, I was talking about a woodpecker that is in our vicinity.
Yeah.
It's been there for 2 weeks. It's working on the same power line pole.
It's full of urchins.
And I said, did you realize the NFL was studying woodpeckers to wonder how they don't get concussions from that constant strain on their neck?
Right.
Now, do you agree that you learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design?
There's no other place.
Sure.
Well, Adam writes, you will have to turn to Rookie if you need 32 fun facts about woodpeckers, but I can provide the one the NFL must still be trying to find.
Okay.
The anatomy of woodpeckers prevent the birds from suffering concussions. Woodpeckers have a tongue long enough that it surrounds the brain when it's retracted, cushioning the brain while the birds bore their holes.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That's nuts.
Boy, those NFL players are going to have long tongues.
Right.
The tongue of a woodpecker wraps around the brain while they go after the insect.
So Gene Simmons would be a good woodpecker.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Perpetually pushing back, signed Adam. Thank you. I love when we're provided the information.
I'm sorry, but I can only find 17 interesting facts about woodpeckers.
I don't want any.
Here by accident,
I don't want
than
any.
elsewhere
No,
by design.
We're not going down
Joe
that road.
Souchere.
It is Gene Simmons, right? Isn't he the one?
Yes.
He's the one.
That's what I thought.
And I have news about our governor who partook in the fishing opener. I have been sent material by our spies that he was out on a pontoon boat, and it was an electric pontoon boat.
Wait a minute.
Didn't Trump worry about electric boats?
Yeah, you're going to get electrocuted if you try to do an
Big
electric
wave
boat.
comes over. Trump said he'd rather take his chances with a shark.
A lot of people don't like electric boats.
Now, in the department of you're going to learn more here by elsewhere by accident by the Institute.
You'll
Exactly.
learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design.
Well said,
Joe
Matt.
Souchere.
This is an item I think you would want to know about woodpeckers.
But that's your only one.
Okay, but you have to tell me honestly if you agree with me that you would want to know this.
Well, how would I know if I want to know it?
What is a group of woodpeckers
That I
called?
would like to know.
A descent.
A descent?
Descent.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's cool.
A descent of woodpeckers.
Number 15.
No,
You know your mayor quite well,
I know,
Matthew.
I know. That's the only one I saw that he would want to know.
I appreciate knowing that.
Copy. I'm going to get out of here.
Why is it 17 fun facts about woodpeckers?
Down the rabbit hole.
Why not
Because they're
find
not as interesting as the other thing he had.
But why not stop at 15?
Yeah, and you know what? The other facts just aren't that entertaining.
A descent of woodpeckers, which would rarely be able to ever be used because woodpeckers are so infrequently seen.
Together.
Can I tell you something? At our bird feeders right by the window,
many different brands of woodpeckers show up, Joe.
I have a red-headed one that shows
Every
up.
single one, when they sit down, the first thing they do is they look up for about 20 seconds.
Do you know why?
Oh, I'm guessing they're looking for prey?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, like eagles and
Yes,
whatnot.
exactly.
Yeah. Huh. It's fascinating, though. It doesn't matter what kind of woodpecker. They all do the same
Or they're
thing.
doing this. Boy, this guy needs to fix his roof.
Right.
Well, yeah.
From the Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota legislators
Using the rookie's mouth today is Joe Souchere.
have until next Monday to finalize the budget. A lot of work to do. The setting is the fact that Minnesota's state government spending outstripped revenues by $4.7 billion in 2024, which is, again, why I wish the DFLers who want to hold office would just be honest with us, come to your door and say, the only thing I have in mind is to spend as much money as possible. That's what I want to do. So they outstripped revenues by $4.7 billion in the year just concluded. They're forecast to outstrip them again by $4.5 billion this year, 2025, and still outstrip them by 2029. All this adds up to state government budget deficit of $3.5 billion in the 28-29 biennium, or $5.1 billion if you count for inflation. The result of red ink is the result of the flood of red ink is the result of an explosion in state government spending. Minnesota's state budget increased 10.4% from 2022 to 2023, and a further 29.5% the following year.
Wow.
When they blew the surplus. Even $10 billion in tax increases is not enough to pay for this. The question dominating state politics and policy is then how to fix this fiscal mess the DFL trifecta created. Spending hikes, spending cuts, tax hikes, or some combination of the above. It's just, we have passed almost all of our budget bills. DFL Senate Majority Leader Aaron Murphy said, we're waiting for 3 big budget bills to come over from the House: education, taxes, and health and human services. The tax bill should get a floor vote this week, but the others are being held up by internal dissension within the House DFL over whether to cut unemployment insurance for hourly school workers, and between the two parties as the House DFL looks to cut nursing home payments and Republicans look to cut free health care for illegal immigrants.
You know, the situation in nursing homes right now is apocryphal. They're going to cut it? Wow.
If legislators don't pass a budget by next Monday, they'll have to return to the Capitol for a special session, or the state government will shut down on July 1. Those 3 weeks which the House DFL spent boycotting the legislature and getting paid at the start of the season would have been useful right about now.
Yeah.
That's where we are in the great state of Minnesota.
I was trying to find the audio clip. Remember when they blew through that budget and you had the one legislator, she was saying, we took the ball and we slammed it home. And they were basically bragging about blowing all of this taxpayer money.
So, knowing what you just told us, what good does that do us?
To know it?
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's not the answer I was looking for.
It doesn't do you any good at all.
I was looking for something more inspired along the lines of, well, that shows you who you should vote for. And then
doesn't make any difference in the Twin Cities.
And then I was going to come back and say that. And then I was going to say something about making the decision to move away. And then you were going to say, and it would be a pointless conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned Senator Aaron Murphy.
Yep.
This was an oldie but a goodie. Remember on March 6, 2025, gentlemen, when she said this?
This is just 2
But
months
never
ago.
in our history have we had to do that work up against a president who seems hell-bent on crashing the American economy. Only
Well,
one thing
I don't
is
want to
true.
listen to Aaron Murphy. Jesus.
They blamed Trump
Yeah, in March.
in March.
She sounds like she needs a shower.
Well, I don't know how you discern
Determine
that
his tone,
from an
Clean
audio
some
clip.
things up. Just come on.
You know what Kenny just said? He doesn't like her tone.
Use some soap.
Matt,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
outgoing Department of Human Services gal was,
Heather Mueller,
that's education.
Jody Harpstead.
Thank you.
Instead, yeah.
Hail the Flashlight King.
Hail you.
You.
Please don't use my name. I've been a state employee for 25 years. Please don't hold that against me. I was listening to the May 12 podcast. I believe that would be yesterday.
Yep.
And your discussion about if Governor Walz should be responsible for the fraud in Health and Human Services. The answer is absolutely. The governor appoints the commissioners, and the commissioner sets the tone and the work of the department. I don't work for HHS, but another large state department, and have worked for governors going all the way back to Arnie Carlson. I don't remember who Arnie's commissioner was for my department. I was fresh out of college and probably didn't even know we had a commissioner. But when Jesse took office a few months later, I started paying attention. Jesse's guy was a knucklehead. He could lie just like a governor. I guess he's talking about the own department he's in, but we don't know which department that is. Then the Peleni administration, we had different commissioners each term. Each one of them was a former Republican state rep that had lost in his last election. They were dignified and decent to work for, but it was pretty clear they had a single-minded mission to reduce spending on every level. I can appreciate that as a GLer, but I do care about my work, and it became fairly clear over 8 years of Peleni that his commissioners didn't. Mark Dayton was then a breath of fresh air. His commissioner was the only time in 25 years that I actually had a commissioner running our department who had any solid level of work experience in that department. I've always appreciated when you referred to Dayton as a guy, because I think that's what he was. He didn't have to like his politics, and I didn't always, but I think he had a genuine interest in doing good work, and I feel like for 8 years we did that in my department. I attended a meeting with Walz a day or so after he won his first election. He was in my local town, and they invited all the area stakeholders, and for baffling reasons, they included me. His people gave us each a note card, and asked us to put one piece of advice for the incoming governor. Mine was simple: don't fire my commissioner. He was fired in January. We got a DEI hire, and I attended an hour-long pep rally of sorts where I heard the word first, about 100 times. I still work hard and am proud of the work I do. I don't think we've suffered from the fraud HHS and the Department of Education have been through, but we could certainly be better managed. The message here is simple. Government has a purpose: roads, bridges, key services. But when the governor, or the president for that matter, uses his department heads as a tool to push an agenda through, the efficiency of those services suffer. Good luck. I recognize the name of the emailer. He's a frequent emailer, but we're not naming that person.
Great info. That was good.
How many of those suggestions that was provided do you think the governor took up?
Well, this person's message was, don't fire my commissioner, which was one of the first things Walz did.
Right.
And it sounds like, or I'm just going to jump to the conclusion that he fired him just so he could get a DEI person in there, not based on any work that the guy had done or not done.
Nah, it doesn't make any difference.
I didn't mean to taint you like that.
No, it doesn't make any difference.
Well, I know it's frustrating, but what are we doing here then if it doesn't make any difference?
Well,
Did
I'll
we
tell
just
you
go
what
to woodpecker stuff, Joe?
I'll tell you what we're doing.
Tell me about
It doesn't make any difference because I'm reading today that the universe is going to end and die much sooner than expected.
Oh, hallelujah. Good.
So we're soon going to be done with this. The universe is poised to die much faster than previously thought. This is according to new research by Dutch scientists. And that's where I like to get my information, from Dutch scientists. I think they wear wooden shoes.
What are you thinking about?
The little pointy clogs?
But see, this is the universe will die, but this is in what's the word I want? Not
trillions of years?
Not cosmetic times. What's the word I'm thinking of?
End times?
No. Cosmic.
Cosmic.
In the cosmic scheme of things,
dude,
we're still around for a while. We still have 10 to the power of 78 years before the universe dies. That's a 1 with 78 zeros.
Oh,
So walls can do a lot more damage yet.
just keep paying my mortgage, huh?
It used to be 10 to the power of 1100 years.
Oh.
But see, we're moving up because apparently we're basing our calculations on the Hawking radiation. That's named for Stephen Hawking.
Got it.
Hawking postulated in the mid-'70s that black holes leak radiation, slowly dissolving like aspirin in a glass of water, giving them a finite lifetime. The Dutch scientists extended this to other objects in the universe, calculating that the evaporation time depends on density. You knew that, didn't you?
Yeah, I was just reviewing that during my Lucky Charms.
This
thing.
enabled them to calculate the theoretical dissolution of the longest lasting body, the white dwarf, which I've never heard of. But this is what we're doing. See, we have Dutch scientists who are telling us that. See, there's not enough bad news. The news, every one of the networks will probably go with this because
This is not bad news.
it is, because it doesn't affect us. We can't take advantage of this. We can't smoke a Lucky.
I see. Okay, this is very bad news.
It's terrible news.
This is the worst news we can possibly get. Thank you for putting me straight there.
You know what I have a hard time with? Well, basically space. But
Math.
to think of the light from a star left a star that might no longer even be in existence.
Just seeing it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with that.
That's how I answer a lot of emails.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing this now.
It was sent 3 light years ago.
Yeah.
I sent that to you over the weekend, Kenny. You sent me a message, remember? And I the next day said, sorry, I just saw
That's
this.
the best online lie ever. I use it constantly, and I respect people like you, John, that use it on me.
Buys you time. It buys you time.
If you get away from the city and you see the sky, it's a planetarium. It's just beautiful, the nighttime sky. How many of those stars don't even exist anymore? All you're seeing is the light that's working its way.
You've been pretty heavy into the gummies lately, haven't you?
Not really. No. Never even tried one.
So, Rook, help me here.
Yep.
I could just picture you in the driveway kind of giving it one of these.
No, you can't do it from the driveway. You got to get up.
You got to lay down. You get a blanket.
Okay, you're up at the lake.
Yeah, you got to get
You're
out.
You're up at the lake.
And then you're bugged by mosquitoes. So it's a real difficult deal.
You just lay a little mosquito netting over you.
Yeah.
All right.
Joe should be a reality show. They should just have a camera on him at all times.
What's he doing out there? Just leave him be. He's looking at the stars
What's with the
again.
netting and the binoculars? What the hell's he doing?
Reeves, I hope your meeting with Precision Door went well.
You know what's neat?
Were they there on time?
They were. They when I did the online appointment scheduler, they give you your window.
Really? You did it
And,
online?
and they also give you the update via text message.
So-and-so's on his way.
Hey, he'll be there in 20 minutes.
What was your
or whatever.
guy's name?
I got it right. No, I got it right here. He was a really nice guy.
I wonder if
talked
he's
to
the guy whose sunglasses I still have.
Greg. I met Greg today.
You're making that up.
No, Greg. Well, I don't know if he wants me to use his last name, but Greg was my.
He's making that
look,
up.
and they give you the picture of the guy too.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty neat. No, he
What's
was
his
really nice guy.
address? Where's he live?
So it's Precision Door,
Yeah.
the garage door guy of Garage Logic, serving western Wisconsin and most of the metro, and by including Reavers, they're cutting that metro some slack because you're way out there. You're way beyond.
You can see stars out by me.
You're on the metro border, aren't you? But they
Pretty
got
much,
there, and
yep.
they got there on time, and they fix what you need fixing. And if you need a new garage door, they have models for every budget. They'll send a designer out that's free of charge, and do it all online if you want at precisiondoormn.com. That's the way Reavers did it. I prefer a telephone call. Mm-hmm. So you should have
Talk to somebody.
You should have Precision Garage Door in your contacts. Precision Garage Door. 61. Did the guy mention the show at all?
Oh no, he knew exactly who I was.
Yeah.
He says I love the show.
They give you a little taste.
We're running the numbers.
All right.
Kick some tires.
Call 612-263-0009. 6985 for Precision Door, Minnesota.
Reavers here once again for my guy, Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Well, sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? Well, Mr. Money Talk is going to be able to sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute, no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.
The earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Yeah, I've always thought that auction prices are the true indication of the value of an item. And that's why I'm wondering if you've checked out kbid.com yet, at least to see what's out there and what the prices are. There's a pretty good chance if you're looking for something, you'll find it on KBid. By the way, k-bid.com. Get that dash in there. We're talking everything from tractors to wood stoves to crystal. It's amazing what you can find on KBid. It's the online auction venue where you can bet on just about anything. They have sold it all. New airplanes. Yeah, brand new airplane. Old antique dish sets, got it. And they've got new items on the market every day.
Did you say
every day.
A new airplane?
Brand new airplane. What are you looking for? Can I get you? What are you interested in?
Well, I mean, that's something to get.
Yeah, let's get you into something with wings here.
Tough to get in under the 48-hour rule.
That's the best part about KBid. I wonder if you could find. They do online real estate auctions. Maybe you could find a hangar for that brand new airline. Yeah. It's free and super easy to register with KBid. Just head to k-bid.com, create that account, and then start buying stuff. You can bid, buy, brag, do it all. Or, 24-hour rules, buy it and don't say anything about it.
48-hour rule.
48 hours, 24, 48. I can't keep up with the rules here at Garage Logic. A lot of rules. I've actually been on KBid for quite a while, for years actually, and I love checking out all the online auctions. kbid.com, k-bid.com, where the next great deal is just a bid away.
You know what I'm tired of?
What do you got?
Me?
People coming up with these new ways to clean cars. For example, I saw a video yesterday of a fellow who takes a potato outside, cuts the potato in half, and then scrubs the hood of his car with a potato.
I'm not buying it.
You know what? There's a lot of stuff at O'Reilly Auto Parts,
I'm
all
not
right?
buying it, yep.
We're not using fruit and vegetables anymore. I'm tired of it.
Right.
You don't need it.
Was this a guy that makes his living making content for the internet?
I don't know.
This is why I hate the internet.
Joe, the emailer, writes, Joe, I teach kindergarten in northern Minnesota. This is a course offering I received from the Minnesota Department of Education. Kindergarten. Kids can't read, but we are worried about the climate. I mean, kids can't read because we are more worried about the climate. Mm-hmm. On a positive note, I have 21 kids. 20 of them met or exceeded the grade level score for both their NWEA map, whatever that is. Well, good. I think it's another name we're supposed to leave off the air. But the link person sent me is real.
Okay.
Save the date.
What are we saving?
This is the kindergarten teacher.
Yep.
Gets this. Save the date, Climate Literacy 101. Register for Climate Literacy 101 Professional Development. Now, I'll read this to you, and then there's going to be a brief quiz.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
The Minnesota Department of Education's Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Center, Division of Early Education, and the Department of Children, Youth, and Families Early Learning Services Division are excited to partner with the Center for Climate Literacy from the University of Minnesota to provide, let me turn the page. This all came in the mail, the email, to provide a free 3-hour workshop on climate literacy
Oh, my God.
and best practices in outdoor education. Climate literacy is about helping students understand and care about our Earth. Earth is capitalized.
Okay.
The air, water, and living things around them, and how we all connect and belong. This exciting work is about sparking their natural curiosity and encouraging them to be kind to their world. Remember, they can't tie their shoes at this point. Hear from climate literacy experts. Learn about resources to support your outdoor instruction from the early education team and beyond. And identify ways you can take action and foster a love and respect for the outdoors with your school community. This free session will invite participants to engage on climate literacy through self-reflection, because kindergartners are good at that.
Right.
They love that self-reflection.
Self-reflection. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Partnering with others, they love that too.
Mm-hmm.
They hit each other over the head with pencils.
Right. Crayons.
And identifying more equitable and inclusive strategies to use in a classroom setting. We will be spending part of the session outdoors, so please dress accordingly for the weather. Attendees will receive 3 hours of CEUs. What's that? Continuing Education Unit might be my guess. Or a clock hour credit and copies of We Are Water Protectors and Walking Together to support their climate literacy journey. Space is limited. Register today for Climate Literacy 101. The date is Monday, June 16. Time, 9 a.m. to noon. Location, Minnesota Department of Education. Please bring your comfortable shoes, water bottle, and any sun or rain protection you might need. We hope to enjoy the outdoors, even in the event of light rain. Contact Susan Samaha with any questions about this event. What would be my main question about this? That's the quiz.
Why are you wasting their time?
Well, that's a good one, but that's not what I'm thinking of.
How long has the climate been changing?
No, I'm not thinking about that either. I'll just cut to the chase.
I got it. Can I guess?
Yeah.
You're hung up on the word or the fact that this place has a center.
Nope.
Oh,
No. I'm wondering who is it's going to determine the intensity of the rainfall to continue to allow this to go on or not. It says we're going to meet even in the event of light rain. Who is going to determine what constitutes light rain as opposed to, say, a medium rain?
That was your question.
That, and it seems that great care is being advised here for your sunscreen, your boots, your jacket, umbrellas, the whole thing. We're very worried about the weather in this deal.
here's your answer. They're going to count on Dave.
It has nothing to do with the curriculum.
No, we're worried about your. Now look it. You be careful. What if it's a sunny day? You better be lathered up in that copper tone.
SPF 50.
Here, I'm sitting here reading as fast as I can, trying to teach myself what climate science literacy is all about and what you're going to say and ask and do.
Yeah.
It all has to do with the day of the event.
Right. The day of the event, it could be rainy. Which state authority? Which state authority is going to determine the level of rainfall?
It would be the government-run weather department, the National Weather Service. That's who would do it.
But then
That's
they
the
got to
answer.
funnel the info to Suzanne Samaha. She's going to be on the phone with
Crunching
the weather
the numbers.
service. The kids are all at the door. They're waiting for the go sign.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Hold up. I'm waiting for the latest. I got
light rain right
I
now.
got to check the radar."
It's right here on my phone.
Yeah.
I have your predictions tonight. According to the government,
Yep.
mostly clear, a low around 64. Tomorrow, according to the government, sunny with a high near 87. Southeast wind 5 to 50.
Would the kids be let outside today, given that we are under a poor air quality
That's
alert?
a better question. Who determines Yeah, opening the door.
And
You're
if you
right.
noticed how, here, let me see if I have it. Have you noticed how, come on, didn't the Star Tribune have anything about the fires up north? Because
They did online, I know.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but this is the paper. How about something in the paper? Because I noticed something. Maybe I noticed it online.
It's amazing what they've been ignoring lately, Joe.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Here we go. This doesn't have it. Shoot. We're naming all the fires. This is the Susquehanna. Just like California. They're taking a page from California. This is the Bushwood fire. This is the Brunswick
Camp
fire.
Fire.
This is the Camp Fire. This is the whatever fire. Back to the kids and their climate workshop. They can't read.
Yep.
They can't write.
Can't tie their shoes.
They can't tie their shoes, but they're going to reflect about the climate if the weather cooperates. They can't go outside if it's really hot. They won't be going out.
Heavy rain?
Because you could get sunburned.
Okay.
Heavy rain will wipe it out, but a certain amount of rain, they'll still do it. That's the leading question of this whole exercise. Who will determine whether the rain is fit for man or beast? That's where we are.
You
Kindergarten.
sound like Yukon Cornelius.
Kindergarten. Kindergarten.
Is the daily weather considered climate?
The true believers think not. It's just the weather. Climate is more seen
Because one of
long-term.
the things you learn in climate science literacy is knowing how to assess scientifically credible information about climate.
Well, kindergartners can do that.
Yeah.
They can do that. First graders can do that. They're asked to take on quite a load there. It has nothing to do with reading, writing, and arithmetic, but they're asked to take on quite a load. Let me just tell you one more thing I have here. Oh, this is good news from the state of Minnesota.
Oh, good.
Now, I
Finally.
rarely have that.
Finally, some good news.
I rarely can provide that.
Yeah.
I was alerted to this by our mole, and I've chosen an MPR piece.
Interesting.
Lawmakers in St. Paul and Washington, D.C. have worked to juice sales in recent years, boost them, in other words, of EVs by offering purchase and lease incentives for electric vehicle purchases, reaching into the thousands of dollars. But this year, they might be throwing things into neutral or reverse by slimming funds for charging infrastructure in the case of the federal government and tacking on surcharges at the state level. Legislation that passed in the House and Senate and is being merged into a single transportation bill in this, the final week of the session, would assess a $200 per year surcharge for all electric models and $100 for hybrids. That's because they don't pay any gas taxes.
Right.
Depending on the final wording, the surcharge could be automatically boosted in years to come. The proposed surcharge is designed to recoup money, or is it recoup? Recoup money that isn't feeding into the state's road building account through gas taxes. Well, I'll be damned. As of January of 2024, there were more than 53,000 registered EVs in Minnesota. Another 16,000 were sold last year, according to Atlas Public Policy. We're coming off of Minnesota having its electric vehicle rebate program, which was very popular, but only funded for 1 year. And now we're seeing the state go in the opposite direction, said Carolyn Berninger with Drive Electric Minnesota. Wait a minute. There's a group called Drive Electric Minnesota.
Yeah.
I wonder how much fraud they've committed. They're a nonprofit. They got to be a nonprofit.
Drive Electric.
The rebate programmer offered up to $2,500 for new EVs and $600 for purchases of used EVs. That was on top of tax credits three times as large as on the federal level. Even with that, Berninger points out EV adoption in Minnesota is still very low. Yeah, they're not the answer for a really cold climate. They are, I guess, if your driving is limited to the sustainable urban core.
Even then.
Berninger is concerned customers won't want to go with an EV when they see an annual surcharge triple from $75 to $200. I got news for you. Can I tell you something?
Go.
if the $200 surcharge for a year is going to stop you from, you should never have looked at an EV in the first place, right?
True, yes. Yeah.
Hiking up fees, and particularly this $200 fee, would require electric vehicle owners to pay more in electric vehicle fee than a lot of gas car owners pay through the gas tax. I don't know how she arrives at that. Hybrid and electric motorcycles. Are there electric motorcycles? I guess.
Yep, and dirt bikes.
Would be assessed from $20 to $40 annually. Berninger said disincentives are especially mounting at the federal level. The White House wants to cancel funding of the $5 billion EV charging station grant program that was approved in 2021 infrastructure bill and signed into law by Joe Biden. Yeah, kill it. We're back to that old conversation we had months ago. Did the taxpayers build gas stations at the turn of the 20th century?
I'm thinking no.
Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison is part of a multi-state coalition suing the Trump administration for not funding those charging stations. Are you nervous, Keith? How are you doing? The thing that's happening in the legislature I disagree with, but I can't claim it's unconstitutional, Ellison said. Thank you. What the president doing is unconstitutionally illegal. How is it illegal? Why is canceling $5 billion for EV charging station grants illegal? I don't have the answer. Maybe because it was an act of Congress and some other means has to be gone about in order to undo an act of Congress. At the Capitol in St. Paul, state lawmakers have versions of the surcharge bill in both the House and Senate. I don't think anyone goes to the dealership and says, I was going to buy an electric vehicle, but that extra $75, that's what got me, said Representative Bjorn Olson, Republican of Fairmont. I don't think anyone says that. I don't either, Bjorn. The House is tied among Republican and Democrats this year as the final days of the session wind down. Some Democratic representatives are frustrated that more is not being done to address climate change. What do you want? We're already starting them in kindergarten.
Right.
With literacy.
Here you go, kiddos.
Climate doesn't give us a pause. The climate doesn't care about our politics.
If this climate paused.
This climate paused right here, we'd be better off.
You mean to tell me?
You mean to tell me if this climate paused right here, we'd be warmer? The climate doesn't care about our politics, said Representative Larry Kraft, DFL St. Louis Park. You go get him, Larry. The fact that we weren't able to make more progress, I'm disappointed. And I have renewed emphasis to work on it. And I wish my colleagues on the Republican side of the aisle would recognize physics. Okay, Larry. Thank you. Okay, Larry, you go get him. Are you driving an electric car, Larry? And if you are, I resent the hell out of the fact that my tax dollars had to support your fantasy. It's ridiculous. Thank you very much. We're going to take a break and come back with Mr. Height.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
And he's at Target Center. That's why.
ProfessionalTurf.com. Imagine the possibilities. You could have ProTurf right away, early on, wake up your lawn irrigation system, then treat your lawn. A different crew, they'll come out, treat your lawn with weed killer fertilizer. They do that throughout the summer. And then have the outdoor environment, as I like to say, improved, turn you into royalty with their other department. It's so amazing with the things that ProTurf can do for you. All you have to do is log on to ProfessionalTurf.com. As for those lawn treatments, more and more GLers doing it every year now and seeing the result, then wondering why they didn't do it years ago. I understand. Just click that link, and ProTurf, they're going to send out an experienced service tech. They're going to assess that situation, reconnoiter your lawn, and then customize a slow-release fertilizer and weed control plan made for you and you alone, environmentally safe and guaranteed for the best results. You will have the best lawn on the block. All you have to do is click on that link and have them out for that free estimate, ProfessionalTurf.com.
Here's John Height in the newsroom.
Thank you, Joe. This news brought to you by North American Banking Company. One sports note, and those of you on the town council will know that we just broke down this ball game for about 5 minutes during that last break. Another reason to join the town council. Timberwolves taking a 3-1 lead in their Western Conference semifinal series against Golden State last night. They won 117-110. They can win the series tomorrow night with a victory at Target Center, 8:30 start time.
More like 9:10, but what the hell?
Yeah.
That's as much basketball as I think we've ever discussed on the program.
Yeah. We broke it down, brother.
Rookie doesn't like traveling and cheering defense.
Yeah, he doesn't want to hear defense. In news.
What about a guy holding the letter D and then the fence?
That's the silent protest, so that's okay. Yeah.
It's always clever in the football stands.
Right.
In news, one of the 3 wildfires burning in northern Minnesota grew in size in just a matter of a few hours overnight.
Does it have a name?
It does. I got all kinds of names coming up for you, Joe. On Tuesday morning, the online tracker Watch Duty showed the Jenkins Creek Fire.
Sure, we got to have names for them.
Had grown to 6,800 acres in size and is 0% contained. That fire was only at 1,500 acres at 4 this morning. The Munger-Shaw Three Lakes Road Fire has burned more than 1,300 acres, while the Camp House Fire, also known as the Brimson Fire, is now at least 12,000 acres. So we have one fire with 2 names, Joe. Mm-hmm. Combined, the fires now have burned more than 20,000 acres or 31 square miles. Governor Walz has authorized the National Guard to help fight the Camp House Fire. Meanwhile, the evacuation order for the Three Lakes Road Fire was lifted on Monday night, according to St. Louis County Sheriff Gordon Ramsey, who provided an update early Tuesday morning on social media.
Aren't we expected to welcome some much-needed rain in the next 48 hours?
Wednesday night into Thursday, I believe.
Yeah.
Take it. I'll take it.
I will, too.
Google Maps has marked the fires on their Minnesota maps. So if you go to Google Maps, Minnesota, you'll see exactly where they're at.
The sheriff up there that I talked about, Gordon Ramsay, is reiterating drivers, don't go past road closure signs. He said some people are going around barricades just to see what's happening.
That sheriff was speaking directly to me because that is exactly what I would do.
Was that in between kitchen scenes?
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Okay, thanks.
And Andrew Whitty is stepping down as CEO of healthcare giant United Health Group in a surprise transition that follows a period of unprecedented turbulence, including the public killing of a company executive and financial woes that in recent weeks have only intensified. Whitty is leaving, he says, for personal reasons, the company said, and he'll remain as a senior advisor. He'll be replaced as chief executive by former CEO and longtime company leader Stephen Hemsley, who has been serving as board chair since 2017. United Healthcare suspended its financial guidance for the year, and its stock price was down more than 13% in early trading today. The company employs some 400,000 people, including 19,000 here in Minnesota. A 45-year-old Shakopee man will spend around 10 years in prison for selling fentanyl to a man who fatally overdosed in March of 2024. John Ryan Radush was convicted of and sentenced to 1 count of murder in the 3rd degree. The victim had been found unconscious and not breathing in a home in Louisville Township. Despite first responders and family giving him up to 9 doses of Narcan and CPR, he was pronounced dead. Drug paraphernalia and 2 cell phones found near the victim. His family also said they believed Radush had given the victim narcotics, adding the victim sent $20 through a cash app to Radush the day prior. From the Star Tribune, 3 Minneapolis City Council members have proposed a new 2% fee on hotel rooms that would be used to promote tourism. Tourism Improvement District would be created, and the roughly $6 million in revenue would pay for marketing, special projects, and workforce development and training. It would be similar to Minneapolis's Downtown Improvement District, except the revenue would be managed by a committee of hoteliers who would decide how to use the money. The district would be managed by the Greater Minneapolis Convention and Visitors Association, a.k.a. Meet Minneapolis. Council members Robin Wansley, Katie Cashman, and Michael Rainville sponsoring the ordinance, which would allow a 2% service charge on the sale of rooms at hotels, motels, boarding houses, bed and breakfasts, and other buildings with 50 or more rooms for rent. The tourism district is part of Meet Minneapolis's Destination Master Plan, which aims to optimize Minneapolis's visitor economy to ensure year-round vibrancy. Minneapolis sold a record 680,000 hotel rooms during summer of 2024, according to Meet Minneapolis, setting post-pandemic highs for summer occupancy, room demand, and room revenue. The occupancy rate last August was over 70%, the highest since October 2019.
John, I
Yes.
think we should submit our jingle that you and Don McLean and I came up with on
right.
Krabby. Because
Let's sing it. Here, give us a little sample.
I have no idea how it went, but
Yeah, I
we
don't
created
know.
a 30-second song to encourage tourism in Minnesota.
Their song was MEAT, Minneapolis.
Oh. Difference.
What's a hotel room? $300?
Oh, God, no.
200, 150.
150.
It fluctuates, too.
What's 2% of 150?
Come on.
$30?
Well, that'd be 20%.
$3?
$3.
Oh, $3.
Did I get it right?
You did.
You did. Yes.
Holy crap!
I know.
You mark this day in your calendar right this minute.
Circle.
But it's not even that. It's I laughed at the fact that if you do book a room, if you use a third party, Expedia, whatever, all the fees that are associated now with going downtown. Well, this is just one more. It's just like Ticketmaster,
Right.
when you're just trying to book a damn hotel room.
Thank you for saying Ticketmaster, Chris. Speaking of concerts, we have a big announcement today. Farm Aid coming to the Twin Cities. Farm Aid, the nonprofit that fights on behalf of U.S. family-owned farms, will celebrate its 40th anniversary with an all-star concert September 20th at Huntington Bank Stadium at the University of North Dakota. The lineup, University of Minnesota. So far this year, the lineup includes Willie Nelson and Family, John Mellencamp, Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds, Neil Young and the Chrome Hearts, Billy Strings, Margot Price, Wakahatchee, Eric Burton of Black Pumas, and did I say Trampled by Turtles? Minnesota's
You
own
did
Trampled. Minnesota's own Trampled by Turtles. And,
How's Willie doing these days? Is he in
They'll
good
have him in a
shape?
chair. He'll be in a
Yeah,
chair.
he sits now
Okay.
with the kids, basically.
Is Eric Burton there?
That's it. Not the
House in New
animals.
Orleans?
Not the
No,
animals.
that's why I went Burton.
Oh.
It's Burden with the animals. But they're expected to add a lot more artists to that. They always do. The original idea, you'll remember, for Farm Aid came from Bob Dylan. He made a plea on stage in July of 1985 at the massive Live Aid benefit concert, which raised money to fight famine in Ethiopia, about the need to help American family farmers with mortgage debt. Farm Aid has given more than $25 million in grants to 300 organizations and runs a hotline for farmers that provides relief in emergencies, conducts educational programs, and works on farm policies with local, regional, and national groups. Tickets for Farm Aid 40, priced $101 to $390, will go on sale at 10 o'clock on Friday.
That's why he couldn't do it.
What?
Perform at the All-Star game. July of 85, he was
Oh,
at
yeah.
Farm Aid.
John, are you going to this?
Live Aid, Chris.
Whatever.
Farm Aid wasn't there in 1985.
Live Aid.
Jesus.
Are you going, John?
I'd kind of like to. I don't know. Time will tell, as that song.
I don't mean
A
to
lot
be
of artists
cynical
I like.
and bitter by asking this question. I truly want to know, has anybody seen any evidence or proof of this working before, after, any kind of stories like that in all the years that Farm Aid has
No
been around?
idea.
Have you ever watched Farm Aid, Kenny?
No, I haven't. No,
They
what
have-
happens?
They have farmers in between the music. They have put together stories, just like a newscast, and they'll talk to farmers from Iowa.
Okay.
Elmer?
I'm glad I asked. All right.
Yeah, and they'll
Thank you.
say, they helped us, blah, 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 blah.
My
Don't say-
question is,
Right.
hey, Live Aid, you've been doing this for 40 years. How's the famine in Ethiopia? How do we fix that yet, or are we still?
I don't think it really helped a lot.
Okay. Well, then you might want to get somebody on that to find out where the money's going.
Does all this
think,
go back to Jerry Lewis? Are we to
Hey,
blame Jerry
lady!
Lewis on all this?
Is he still alive?
No, Jerry
No,
Lewis is
He
dead.
checked out. When did he check out? Now I'm going to go down the Jerry Lewis rabbit hole.
Why don't we?
How did we get to Jerry Lewis?
Hey, lady!
I know. I just.
Thank you. You're
I
welcome.
gotta go.
Hi, my name's
I
Kenny.
gotta go. I want to hear what Chris has to say.
I want to tell you about my friends at Hofferman Water and Connecticut, because right now the anniversary sale is going on through the end of May. Here's the details, ladies and gentlemen. $400 off a K5 reverse osmosis system, a free A200 drinking water system with the purchase of a Premier Series softener, half off basic installation for any new 1-year rental contract. If you've been on the fence about updating your water, then now is the time. They also do offer 0% interest and same as cash financing with approved credit, but you got to get on the schedule to have them come out and give you that free water analysis. And you can do that one of two ways. You can book your appointment online at HoffermanWater.com, or you can give them a call directly at 612-895-2440. But this limited time anniversary sale only goes on through the end of May. So get on that schedule now. 612-895-2440, or like I mentioned, HoffermanWater.com. It's the best water treatment systems going right now. I've had it in 2 different homes, and it's made an amazing difference in the quality of my water, and it will do the same for you as well. Once again, HoffermanWater.com or 612-895-2440. Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Please do me a favor and mention that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
Will you sing this ad?
Yeah.
No spot
If you
here.
have a bad garage floor, I know the place to go. InnovativeGarageFlooring.com. Just pick up the phone, inspired by you. What color, red? Or maybe it's blue. 763-291-0110. Your son, your daughter, graduating this summer. Get the floor ready and it won't be a bummer. InnovativeGarageFlooring.com, 763-291-0110. Blaine Showroom, 30 years of experience.
He outsang the bumper song.
And they won't sing to you.
He outsang the bump.
InnovativeGarageFlooring.com. Thanks for being good
Fantastic.
sports.
I am so impressed and moved, Matthew. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Quick question for potential future advertisers with the Garage Logic podcast.
Yeah.
Does a client have to pay extra for that, or does that come included?
If they really like it and they say change it into that, it will cost them.
Gotcha.
First one's free.
Got it.
First one's free.
Give
That was
them
just a little preview, just in case. Right?
Exactly. Transform your garage.
In national and international news, inflation cooled for the third straight month in April, even after some of President Trump's tariffs took effect, although economists and business owners expect inflation will be climbing in the next couple of months. Consumer prices rose 2.3% in April from a year ago, according to the Labor Department, right on target for what the financial industry expected. Core prices saw dips, including groceries, which dropped 0.4%. Only some early tariffs imposed by the president were in effect in April, including 25% duties on steel and aluminum and 25% on some imports from Canada and Mexico. President Trump announcing universal 10% tariff that took effect April 5th. His huge 145% import taxes on Chinese goods reduced to 30% in a deal announced yesterday. House Republicans unveiling the cost-saving centerpiece of President Trump's budget bill, at least $880 billion in cuts, mostly to Medicaid, to help cover the cost of a $4.5 trillion tax break. And that's getting some pushback. Consisting of hundreds of pages, the legislation revealed late Sunday touched off the latest political fight over health care since Republicans tried and failed to repeal the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, during Trump's first term. While Republicans claim they are eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse to generate savings, Democrats warn that millions of Americans will lose coverage. A preliminary estimate from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office said the proposals would reduce the number of people with health care by $8.6 million over the decade. Politics ahead are uncertain. More than a dozen House Republicans say they will not support the cuts to the health care safety net programs. Trump himself shying away from a repeat of his first term, claiming there will be no cuts to Medicaid. One Republican, Senator Josh Hawley of Minnesota, warning his colleagues yesterday in an op-ed that cutting health care to pay for tax breaks would be, in his words, political suicide.
Well, Isaac Schultz, state representative from House District 10B, emailed me. Minnesota is primed to see a $325 million annual cut to Medicaid because the Democrats and Walz insist on funding illegal health care, illegal immigrant health care. And he said, I spoke on this point last night on the floor of the House and would be, in fact, last night in the Minnesota House, Democrats brought forward a bill that removes all funding for Minnesota Care, which serves 116,000 Minnesotans, because they are unwilling to strip the funding only for illegal immigrants. In essence, if the bill that passed the House last night was signed into law, 116,000 legal residents of Minnesota would lose access to health care because the Democrats think illegal immigrants need free health care.
President Trump in Saudi Arabia today, the first of 3 stops on his Middle East tour. The visit marks the president's first overseas trip of his second term, excluding a visit to Italy earlier this month to attend Pope Francis's funeral. He's emphasizing economic ties. The U.S.-Saudi Investment Summit will reportedly include top executives from NVIDIA, Palantir, Citigroup, Blackstone, and Uber. Trump visits Qatar tomorrow, followed by United Arab Emirates on Thursday.
Is he going to go see his new plane with the statue of Elvis in it?
Well, they had said that was originally supposed to be announced during this trip, but somehow the news
Do you realize that if he takes this plane, it'll have to be completely disassembled and put back together?
Why?
Really?
Well, they're going to have to.
They got to go through it.
They got to examine it for how do you know you're not being spied on?
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't think the boys would do that, would they?
Sure they would.
Okay.
Sure they would, Matt. Sure they would.
Then why not just have a no talking policy?
Yeah.
Right. Maybe just
on
sign.
the plane.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but it's Donald Trump. Chris, no talking?
Yeah, I know.
The Trump administration yesterday welcoming a group of 59 white South Africans as refugees, saying they face discrimination and violence at home, which the country's government strongly denies. The decision to admit the Afrikaners also raised questions from refugee advocates about why they were admitted when the Trump administration has suspended efforts to resettle people fleeing war and persecution who went through years of vetting. President Trump told reporters Monday he admitted them as refugees because of the, quote, genocide that's taking place. He said that in post-apartheid South Africa, white farmers are, in his words, being killed. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has said accusations of racial persecution of white South Africans is a complete and false narrative. Until 1994, of course, South Africa controlled by the country's white minority, many of them descendants of Dutch colonists known as the Afrikaners, under the apartheid system of racial segregation, which deprived black South Africans of basic civil rights. Whites still own a majority of land in the country and control a hugely outsized share of the country's wealth. There's some pushback here in the U.S. on that move, by the way. The Episcopal Church halting their refugee resettlement program with the federal government over the prioritization of white South Africans, while other populations see their immigration protection removed. U.S. health regulators announcing plans to phase out fluoride-containing supplements, sometimes used to strengthen children's teeth, opening a new front in Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s effort against a mainstay of dental care. The Food and Drug Administration said it will conduct a scientific review of the products by late October with the aim of removing them from the market. It was not immediately clear whether the agency planned to formally ban the supplements or simply request that companies withdraw them.
Don't we have fluoride in our water in Minnesota?
We did at one time. I don't know if we currently do.
I will Google that. I don't know why I said it that way.
I don't
know if I like your tone.
This story made the rounds on the internet last week. I didn't get to it, but I thought I'd like to share it anyway. You probably saw it. Body cam footage from Springfield Township, Ohio, went viral after an officer pulled a woman over and told her she had a warrant out for her arrest. After putting her in cuffs, the officer went back to the car and found a raccoon sitting in the front seat, hands wrapped around a glass cylinder. Yes, a meth pipe. And he's giggling, the officer, that is.
The raccoon was?
No, the officer, that is.
Oh.
While watching the raccoon playing with the meth pipe. Person standing nearby tries to take it from the raccoon, but the raccoon doesn't want to give it up. The cop
he's jonesing.
Is this AI?
But no, it was real.
Okay.
The cop grabs her arm and says it's evidence while he tries to coax it away from the critter. He takes away one pipe, but the raccoon, who cops say is named Chewy, grabs another and puts it to his lips like he plans on smoking.
Stop right
Yeah,
now.
yes.
This might be entirely my fault, but I think I lost track here.
Okay.
He pulls a woman over.
Yes,
Then you said he went to his car.
correct.
And it was when he came back he saw the raccoon in the victim's car?
That is
Okay,
correct.
thank you. I thought maybe he went to his cop car and saw
Somebody
the raccoon.
planted it.
Yeah.
No. Let's see. The woman.
I can understand your confusion with the story.
The woman cops arrested, 55-year-old Victoria Vidal, has been charged with possession of drugs and possession of drug paraphernalia. If you're wondering about Chewy, there's nothing wrong with him. He's unharmed. Cops are reaching out to the proper authorities to figure out if Victoria had the right paperwork to keep a raccoon as a pet.
I think I read that she did, but raccoons, in fact, are Satan's pets. These are the most evil animals on the planet, and they all need to be. We need to exterminate all raccoons.
Oh, but they're so cute.
No, dead, John, dead. Send them to hell.
Wow.
I'm not a raccoon fan.
You're anti.
They're evil.
It's not that I don't even know if I work towards anti. I don't like them.
They're evil animals. They're evil.
To answer your question, Joe, yes, Minnesota's public water systems are generally fluoridated.
Well, I don't think it's been killing anybody.
Minnesota law requires community water systems to be fluoridated, with 98.9% of the state's population served by such systems receiving fluoridated water. This means that most people in Minnesota who drink water from a community water system are drinking fluoride.
Well, at the very beginning of the fluoride thing, didn't we think it was a commie plot or something to kill us?
Yeah, there were. I don't remember their specific stories, but they didn't
Yeah, all right.
get the fluoride out.
Apparently,
but it helped your teeth.
Apparently, RFK, one of his things is he thinks it does something to the stuff in your stomach that handles digestion.
So far, so good for me on eating,
Remember when the dentist or the dental hygienist would come to grade school and you had to bite on those
the pink.
the
They were
pink
pink one,
tablets
yeah.
or whatever to show where you need to brush your teeth
It
better?
outed all the other kids.
Right. It was just
All the
like-
poor people, their
Yeah,
whole
right.
mouth was red.
Exactly.
I never had to do that. Maybe I'm too old.
I've never had that either.
Oh, so
Never had that,
humiliating.
yeah.
Oh, it was the worst.
At
And
least you got the
everybody
heads
makes-
up, though.
Yeah, everybody makes fun of you, though, for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And in a bizarre mix of old traditions and cutting-edge technology, a Greek woman has reportedly filed for divorce after asking ChatGPT to read her husband's Greek coffee cup and got an answer she took seriously. The woman, married for 12 years and mother of two, turned to the AI chatbot developed by OpenAI, asking her to interpret the coffee grounds in a photo of her husband's coffee cup. The result? ChatGPT told her husband was having an affair with a younger woman who was determined to tear their family apart. Taking the mystical reading at face value, she immediately initiated divorce proceedings.
Kenny's right. We need to get rid of the internet.
Yeah.
It needs to go away.
The problem with that, Chris, is we make our living on the internet.
That's a good point.
John, is there more to that
So it's
story?
flawed.
Yeah, the
It's
husband
flawed.
thought she was joking, of course, as you would think. He said, I laughed it off as nonsense, but she took it very seriously. First, she asked me to leave, told our kids we were getting divorced. Then I got a call from a lawyer. That's when I realized this just wasn't a phase.
That's a
now
shame.
Well, he should count his blessings. He's pretty lucky.
No kidding.
They're called plaque disclosing tablets, and they're still used today.
That's wonderful. I've told you need guys. You also need your attorney guys. That's Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys. And if you're like me and many other people, you may not know what to do if you're ever injured in an accident. Insurance companies and adjusters can be difficult to deal with. You need somebody on your team. That'd be Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. They're there to explain your rights, to represent you, and help get you through what could be a confusing time. Mike has been recognized as a super lawyer for 6 consecutive years. That's almost like being a superhero. And he's been named among Minnesota's top 40 personal injury attorneys by Minnesota Law and Politics. I hope you're never in an accident, but if you are, call Bradshaw and Bryant, 800-770-7008, or go to minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That case evaluation, of course, is free. And Bradshaw and Bryant wants to remind you, don't be part of the problem. Don't text and drive or drive distracted. That's just common sense from Bradshaw and Bryant.
This guy wears many hats, just not indoors. Joe Souchere.
Frequent offsite correspondent Kelsey alerted me to the original example of the common surface savings and loan.
Oh, okay.
An ordinary spring day quickly became extraordinary for a nature-loving metal detectorist. I didn't even know that was a word. A guy with a metal detector is known as a detectorist. He unearthed a cache of ancient coins. Marius Mangiak confirmed the discovery. He said he had found the hoard in a field near Letka Veche, a small village in southern Romania.
Wow.
He's out there with his
metal detector.
Mangiak said that he found the coins on a beautiful Saturday that did not foreshadow anything of what was to come. I took my director and went out alone, as I often do, for exercise and to relax in the fields and forests. He wrote on Facebook, which was translated from Romanian to English.
Okay.
I didn't think this day would surprise me and bring me face to face with history. Boy, a pretty literate metal detectorist, isn't it?
Right.
He's kind of poetic, isn't he?
Why do you assume they'd be stupid?
Well, it's Romania.
Wow. Nice.
But suddenly, his metal detector began beeping, and soon Mangiak was looking at a hoard of 1,469 Roman coins.
Oh, wow.
Seeing the silver denarti, Mangiak said that his heart was beating quite hard.
Yeah.
I even thought about pinching myself to make sure I wasn't dreaming, the hobbyist said. Whose were these coins? And what were they intended for?
What is these coins?
What is these coins?
Snoop.
He believes the coins are 2,000 years old.
Come on.
Yeah.
Holy.
After 2 strenuous days of photographing the coins, he handed them over to the town hall in Letka Nua.
No.
Oh, you
He
moron.
gave them to
What
the-
Handed them over.
Let me see
Get 'em
now.
on
Let me see.
Marketplace.
Oh, my God.
Those things would go for a
Can
whole...
I finish the
I am
story?
gonna
trying to work
karate-
in, trying to
The
work in
metal-
a plug here for a K-bid.
The metal detectorist concluded, I hope that one day I can take my child to the museum and explain to him how
dummy.
I was lucky enough to discover a page of our people's history.
What a liberal.
You moron.
You know what
Wow.
the kid's going to say? You donated these and we still live in this stupid hut?
Yeah, we got a thatch
Yes,
roof.
let's go.
Mangiak's discovery comes weeks after a pair of metal detectorists found ancient treasure in the Romanian commune of Briaza in Transylvania.
Okay, do they say exactly what they are? Because I'm going to look them up to see if there's a value.
Yeah, I'll just give you the one name I've come across so far.
Okay.
Wheat penny.
Right.
Oh, I got the market cornered on that. Let's see. Matt,
Yep. 1 or 2 T's.
Denari,
Yep.
Denarii, silver denari. Well, the silver alone alerts me to the idea that there's a picture of this dork. He looks like somebody had given to the museum.
In terms of silver content, between 200 BC and 64 AD, a denarius weighed 3.9 grams.
Forget all that. Is there a value?
How much is a denarius worth?
There you go, Matt. How much is it worth? The treasure dated back to the Dacians, who unsuccessfully warred against the Roman Empire in the 2nd century A.D. Holy mackerel. And there they all are. I'm seeing them laid out on a table, and this bozo gave them to the town hall for a museum. Maybe they aren't. Maybe they're like wheat pennies.
Yeah, they're giving me their weight and how much they're worth at the time. So I got to keep looking.
Well, how much was at the time? Could you get a Coke with one of them?
The silver in before
4 bits.
The silver in denarius would be worth $3 today. After that, successive Roman emperors reduced the silver content by 271 AD, so a denarius would only be worth 13 cents in today's money.
Well, then no wonder he gave it. I take everything back, you metal detectorist.
No.
You did a nice thing.
Stop. 13 cents in today's money. But what's it worth as an artifact?
Apparently nothing. The guy can't be that dumb. He wouldn't have given it away if it was worth a
eBay. Denarii coin for sale.
Yeah. Well, you can't see him that often.
A lot of 14X silver denarii ancient silver coins, $115.75.
You know what that is? That's nothing.
But now here's one.
The hell with them.
Here's one rare Roman coin.
I don't even want to find a denarii.
144.
Throw it back.
Yeah, I throw it back. That's not worth the effort. His metal detector machine costs more than that.
How many of you guys, and Donna, I want you to try this. You're listening in Florida. When you're sitting on the beach and you see one of these nerds walking his way up the beach, just go push a penny into the sand in his path and watch this idiot. His eyes light up and he goes crazy and he starts digging, and then he gets a penny and it's like he just found $1 million.
1992.
They're so happy when they dig up
or
a
even
penny.
take like Corona bottle caps, stick those in there too.
No, I don't. That's no.
Only because they come to us all the way.
John,
May I interrupt just once about the coins?
Yeah.
Under Romanian law, once the hoard's value has been estimated, so they're still trying to figure out how much they're worth,
all right,
Mr. Mangiak will be legally entitled to a reward of up to 45% of the assessed value. So there is no assessed value yet.
Guy's going to make about $12.
So the government's already taken 55%.
Before it even starts. Yeah.
Then Dracula's living there, too.
They did all the work. He's digging it out of there. And
you're going to need all that.
Only because they come to us all the way from the traveling Lymans who are in Marloth Park in Mpumalanga Province, South Africa. It was on this day.
Joe, today is May 13th.
Well, on this day in 1824, General Winfield Scott arrived to inspect Fort St. Anthony. Impressed with what he saw, he suggested that the fort be renamed Fort Snelling for Colonel Hosea Snelling, supervisor of its construction. On this day,
on May 13th,
in 1858, the year of our statehood, the survey for a road from St. Cloud to Breckenridge began, following the East Plains Trail of the Red River Carts. The road later became Highway 52.
And then later became I-94.
I'll be damned.
Yep. Not Burlington Northern, what's his name? J.J. Hill followed the same route with his railroad.
And finally, on this day,
on May 13th,
in 1956, Elvis Presley performed at the Minneapolis Auditorium for a crowd of 3,000. And if I'm not mistaken, it's not written in here, if I'm not mistaken, he did a doubleheader because he also performed at the St. Paul Auditorium, I think, on the same day.
I think you're correct. I think last year, maybe when we talked about this, we looked it up.
Yeah.
Isn't 3,000 a little light for
3,000, the place
king?
holds about 8,000.
Right.
Or held about 8,000.
Is that surprising? Why was the crowd so light? Were we not
Elvis
people?
in 1956, he hadn't been on Ed Sullivan yet.
I suppose.
He wasn't really known. He hadn't swiveled his hips.
He hadn't met Forrest Gump yet.
Right. None of that happened. On this day in Minnesota sports history.
On May 13th.
I'm sorry. On this day in Minnesota sports disappointment history.
On May 13th.
May 13th, 1985, give up the Davis. Ron Davis gave up 2-run home run to Mattingly in the top of the ninth, fifth game in a row with a ninth inning home run.
Time to throw in the Davis.
And on this day,
on May 13th,
in 2014, the Wild, of course, lost to the Blackhawks in the second round 4-2. I don't know if that's the game or they lost the series.
Do you know what made Time to Throw in the Davis even funnier? Was when whoever it was called in when Gorbachev was in town, and they had him doing his speech, throw in the Davis.
Throw in the Davis.
On communism or whatever it was. It was very, very funny.
I don't know what the origination of throwing the Davis
Well, instead
is.
of throwing the towel, it's
gotcha.
Throwing the Davis.
You just gave up. You just threw in the Davis.
Elvis information for you.
Go.
3 o'clock in the afternoon at St. Paul Auditorium.
Yep.
And then he crossed the Mississippi, as they say, 8 o'clock show at the Minneapolis Auditorium. They were expecting a lot more people at both places, and for some reason, and nobody knows why, the story I'm reading, they did not end up with all
Did
those
Elvis
people.
and his people cross the river twice?
Probably, if they were
One
smart.
side to the other.
Well, they would have if they had gone to Minneapolis first and then to St. Paul. I could have showed them how to get there by crossing the river twice.
And they had to go to the airport.
Right. Well, that's wonderful news that Elvis was here.
It makes it fun, you know? I
don't think he's been here frequently. I don't think he was here ever.
He's dead now, Joe. Yeah, he's dead.
I know that has something to do with it, but I don't think he was.
Maybe we should throw in the Davis.
I think we're going to. Goodbye.
Time to throw in the Davis.
Wow. Hey, all you Elvis fans, head on over to the YouTube channel for Garage Logic. Yeah, Garage Logic has a YouTube channel, and on that channel, you can watch the show live each and every single day. You can also interact with the show live each and every single day, starting right around noon, and it's all there for you. And all of you thousands of subscribers to the Garage Logic YouTube channel, we really do thank you. Follow us on all of our social media channels as well, which is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And sign up for the Daily Logician. That email comes right to your inbox each and every single day. And it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. You can sign up right now online at the website, which is, of course, garagelogic.com.
Elvis performed 22 times in the Twin Cities.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Where? List them all right now. Time once again to check in with our guy, Mr. Money Talk. Josh Arnold is with us once again here in Garage Logic, and now is the time for you to do the same. So do not delay. Do exactly what I did and pick up that phone and dial 952-925-5608. That number once again is 952-925-5608. When you call that number, you're going to get Josh, and he is there for you for that free, yes, I use the word free, 48-minute financial consultation with absolutely zero obligation. And he will always give you the straight talk. He will never give you the sugar-coated advice. And he is on the line with us once again right here in Garage Logic. And boy, Josh, it was another pretty good day on the NASDAQ today, wasn't it?
Another pretty good day, Chris, on the NASDAQ. Not so good a day on the Dow, but technology shares have been leaders the past several days, and they took a big jump on the suspension. I have to say suspension of tariffs or major tariffs between China and the U.S. On Monday, when the two sides to agree to reduce significantly the tariffs, at least for 90 days. Chinese goods coming into the United States would be tariffed at 30% and not at 145%. Tariffs or product going from the U.S. into China would be tariffed at 10% instead of 125%. And both sides agreed to continue talking. Additionally, China would start taking more U.S. Agricultural products, a big plus for U.S. farmers, and the U.S. would get rare earth minerals, a big plus for manufacturing, particularly of semiconductors and batteries, as China is one of the largest sources for rare earth minerals. Though there are significant, not so rare earths, but significant ore deposits of nickel and copper in northern Minnesota that have been found. But to get some of those out of the ground or other rare earths in other parts of the U.S. is going to take significant amount of time to get, we'll say, operations up and running. But this trade, we'll say and we'll call it suspension of major tariffs between the U.S. and China is a very big deal. Now, I have stated on a continual basis that I am not a tariff guy. the tariffs that had been proposed were not reciprocal. They were punitive, and there are many countries that are trying to cut, we'll say, better and or fairer trade deals with the United States that eventually, should these deals be, completely consummated, will definitely help the U.S. In terms of fairer trade, and will serve to boost at some point our economy. But the China-U.S. deal gave a huge boost to technology shares, and particularly semiconductors, which have led the move up. I do caution on semiconductors. Even some of the leaders like NVIDIA, because they are more cyclical in nature, and demand, even as demand increases, there's still a limit to that. So just be careful there. On the other hand, software companies that are going to benefit from the, we'll say, use cases for artificial intelligence, I think they're going to have a huge lead. I have favored a very expensive company, both on a price-to-sales and price-to-earnings basis, called Palantir, which we've talked about previously. Over the past couple days, that has hit a new high. But again, caution because of its expense and some of the volatility around the name. Other companies that have been doing well with this lower tariff situation is Taiwan Semiconductor, which is still the leading semiconductor manufacturing on a worldwide basis, and they've been putting significant amounts of investment into the United States to manufacture chips. So I still, continue to favor technology-related companies, and would not hesitate to overweight that area. It also would, benefit us as the tax bill works its way through both the House and Senate, and should the 2017 Tax Act get continued, that to me would also be a very significant plus for the market in general. I'm not going to say remain cautious, but I do, recommend still keeping a, significant amount of money in cash, both for safety and for opportunity, because with any fast move up, there typically is going to be some, we'll say, pullback, going forward. And one last thing, which could be part of this new tax act or introduced separately, is a very interesting concept put through by Brad Gershner, a hedge fund manager of Altimer Capital, and Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz. The idea being to, I'll say, for the government to seed, as in SEED, $1,000 per newborn child, an account, in an investment account, we'll say, in the S&P 500. And this account can be added to by parents or grandparents, friends and neighbors, as a way to for the newborn to accumulate capital and participate in a growing economy. I think this is a very interesting idea, and it is a way for individuals to build wealth even with small amounts of capital to start out. So there you go.
Excellent.
That's some of the news of the day.
Excellent advice, as always, Mr. Money Talk. You heard him, GLers. Now is the time for you to pick up the phone and make the call for that free, yes, I use the word free, 48-minute financial consultation with absolutely zero obligation. And you do that just like I did by dialing 952-925-5608, where you always get straight talk and never, ever sugar-coated advice. Josh, once again, thank you so much for the time and the chat. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Chris.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.